ಹಲೋ ನನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ SSLC ಆತ್ಮೀಯ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿ ಮಿತ್ರರೇ, ತಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಸ್ವಾಗತ. ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಒಂದು ವಿಡಿಯೋದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು SSLC ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ 2020-25ರಲ್ಲಿ ದ್ವಿತೀಯ ಭಾಷೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೇಳಬಹುದಾದಂಥ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್ ವಿತ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ 2 marks ಯಾವುವು ಅಂತ ನೋಡೋಣ. ಓಕೆ, ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಲುಕ್ ಎಟ್ ದ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ದೆನ್. ವಾಟ್ ಅಟೆಂಪ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಡಿಡ್ ಸ್ಮಿತಾ ಮೇಕ್ ಟು ಫುಲ್ಫಿಲ್ Anant's wish? Smita knew that her brother Anant was dying of cancer and she wanted to fulfill his wish. So she thought of going to the concert and request Pandit Ravi Shankar to perform for the brother. And how did Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Allaraka keep their promise to Smita? Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Allaraka kept their promise. Next day they went to Anant's house and played for the boy. Okay, then here how do you say that Anant was better than Smita in many ways? Here Anant was a talented boy. He was the best table tennis player in the school and fastest runner. He was learning to play the sitar and was already able to compose his own tunes. Why did Smita get excited after reading the newspaper? Smita got excited after reading the newspaper because it had the news of Pandit Ravi Shankar's music concert at the Shanmukhananda Auditorium the next day. Why do you think the mother cautioned the girl? Yes, Smita's brother Anant had been struck with cancer and he was very sick and was lying on the bed. So the mother cautioned Smita not to disturb Anant. Why did Smita's family move to Bombay? Smita's brother Anant was suffering from cancer. They moved to Bombay from their native town Gaganpur so that he could be treated at the cancer hospital in the city. Do you consider Anant a talented boy? Justify your answer. Yes, Anant was a talented boy. He was the best table tennis player in the school and the fastest runner. He was learning to play the sitar and was already able to compose his own tunes. Then they had come with high hopes. What hopes did Anant's parents have? Anant's parents had high hopes in the miracles of the modern science. They thought that he would be cured, then he could talk and run again, and hoped that he would become a great sitarist one day. What did the doctors say to Anant's parents? Were they words of hope or the words of despair? The doctor asked Anant's parents to take him home and give him whatever he liked. They were the words of despair because his parents realized that he had not many days to live. Or why were the neighbors surprised? The neighbors could not believe their eyes because they saw Pandit Ravi Shankar, the sitar maestro, and Ustad Allaraka, the great tabla maestro, arrive to the boy's house. Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Allaraka performed in the boy's house. How was this unusual incident? Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Allaraka were world famous musicians. In spite of their busy schedule and high profile, they visited the boy and performed for him. Okay. The next question is, why do you think that Smita's mother cautioned her not to make noise? Smita, on looking up the newspaper, almost shouted with excitement, but her brother Anant was ill and suffering from cancer, and she cautioned her not to make noise so that he could rest. Why was Satish confined to bed? What was the worst thing for him? Why was it so? After the incident, Satish's legs became very weak, requiring several operations. He frequently suffered from bouts of fever and infections on the ear. So he was confined to bed and he was becoming deaf and he could not bear the silence. How did Satish meet with an accident? On a holiday in Kashmir, Satish went hiking with his father and brother. While crossing a rickety bridge over some rapids, his foot slipped and he fell into the rapids. Satish did not want to go to a new school. What was the reason? Satish didn't want to go to a new school where he could not talk to the other children, where everyone would make fun of his deafness. How did the beautiful bird inspire Satish? Satish stared at the bird for a long time. After it flew away, he took out his notebook and pencil and made a sketch of the bird. He soon began to spend a lot of time making different sketches. Why was Satish's father against drawing? Satish's father felt that artists do not make much money and he wanted a bright future for his son. He thought that it is possible only by studying hard. He thought drawing as a waste of time. Satish's parents were both his well-wishers, but each cared for him in a different way. How? Satish's father was optimistic and hoped that Satish's hearing would come back. Instead of wasting time on drawing, he wanted Satish to study, and Satish's mother did not have the hope that he would recover, as she was happy that her son had found good pastime in drawing and she did not want him to stop it. Why didn't Satish want to go to a new school? Satish didn't want to go to a new school because he could not talk to the other children where everyone would make fun of his deafness. And what made Avatar Narayan angry? Avatar Narayan had to look for different schools for his son's admission, but every school didn't want him to educate as he was not able to hear. They treated his son as dumb and deaf and asked Avatar Narayan to look for the other school. So he was angry. Why did Satish's father make expeditions to school? Was he successful? If not, why? Satish was frequently absent from and he had a hearing problem. So every school did not want him to admit. So Avatar Narayan had to make expedition to schools, but he was not successful because every school did the same thing for the same reason. Then how did Satish's brother Inder try to help him? Satish's brother Inder sat for hours with him and talked to hear him and teaching him words and pronunciation, and he and his father spent time with him every day, talking to him, trying to teach him things. How do you say that Satish's parents had different opinion about making his life? Satish's father always wanted him to study well and earn knowledge and become successful in life, but Satish was inclined towards painting. He opposed his son for that, but his mother felt drawing as a means of entertainment for her son. And name 3 fields in which Satish Gujral has made his name. Satish came to be popularly known as Satish Gujral, and he is the famous artist from India. He is an accomplished artist with several forms of art like painting, sculpture and architecture. He was also a great writer. And what was the chance of a lifetime for Anant? Anant was a music lover and was also learning to play sitar. Listening to sitar maestro's music and attending his concert was a chance of a lifetime for Anant. Suddenly a daring thought came to her. What was the daring thought? Smita knew that her brother Anant was dying of cancer. She wanted to fulfill his wish. So she thought of going to the concert and request Pandit Ravi Shankar to perform for her brother. How did Smita enjoy the concert? Smita was spellbound by the music as the first notes came over air, as he felt as if the gates of enchantment and wonder were opening, but every beat of tabla reminded her of Anant's voice. Then Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Allarka performed in the boys' house. How was this an unusual incident? Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Allarka were world-famous musicians. In spite of their busy schedule and high profile, they visited the boy's house and performed for him. As Smita sat listening to the music, she was spellbound, but all the while her mind was echoing something else. What was that? Spellbound, Smita listened to the unfolding ragas, but all the while her mind was planning to meet Pandit Ravi Shankar personally and share her feelings about her brother's plight. If possible, she would like to arrange for home concert for her brother. That was the chance of his lifetime. Did Smita tell what she had in her mind to the musicians? And who responded to her request immediately? And what was the response? Yes, Smita told the story of her brother who lay sick at home and how he longed to hear them. And Pandit Ravi Shankar responded to her immediately, and the concert was arranged at their home for the boy. What did Satish see at the far corner of the garden? Why did it attract him? Satish at the far corner of the garden saw a beautiful bird with a long tail and a black crest. Satish was attracted by its restless energy. Its eyes kept darting. Its whole body was ready to fly for any moment. Then how did Satish express his gratitude to his father? Satish's eyes were filled with tears. He hugged his father tightly. His heart was full of love for his stern father, who had at last accepted that his destiny was in canvas and paint. Why did the superpowers meet in Geneva? The three superpowers wanted to come to an agreement ban on the nuclear weapon test. They met in Geneva to discuss the problems that could arise as a result. Or how can you prove that scientists are the most practical people in the world? It is through the work of the scientists that we have medicines, electronics, new sources of energy, modes of transport, and the green revolution. This proves that scientists are the most practical people in the world. What did Baruch learn at Geneva Summit? He learned that there were people all over the world who thought and acted the way he did, so he never felt lonely abroad. He also realized that while there was a science, there was a hope of survival of mankind. According to the authors, why do some people choose to become scientists? Some people choose to be scientists because they cannot live without science. Discovery is their reward. They enjoy teamwork, independence, and the joy of uncovering one of the mysteries of the nature. What was the common thread that bound scientists from the opposite sides of the Iron Curtain? Here, the scientists are able to work out a common language based on respect to hard evidence and an indisputable ranking by expertise only and persistent self-criticism. And how does basic science help one's career? Here, the knowledge of basic science gives us new sources of energy, mineral deposits, and efficient defense from terrorism, a cure from cancer, and new forms of transportation. According to the author, why do some people choose to become scientists though they may not earn much money? According to the author, some people choose to be scientists because they cannot live without science. Their discovery brings the reward, and instead of money, they enjoy freedom, discovering the mysteries of nature and teamwork. Then technical experts were summoned to solve the problem that arose. What was the problem? The nuclear powers wanted to sign an agreement to stop the test of nuclear weapons. There was a possibility that one of them could secretly conduct a test. Detecting the violation was the problem. The poet says calendar and clocks are useless in space. Give reasons. In space, there would be no day and night, and there would be no seasons. So, there would be no need for any calendar or clock. The speaker has the feeling that he is imprisoned. Why did a poet feel like that? The poet would be alone in his capsule. Nobody would visit him or talk with him, and he would not write or receive any letter. So he was in like solitary confinement. The speaker says, teacups circling around me like planet around the sun. Why does it happen only in space and not on the earth? On the earth there is a force of gravity, so things don't fly. But in space there is no force of gravity, so things are circling around the poet. Then how would people on the earth watch astronaut? Would it affect him in any way? People on the earth watch the astronaut on television or track him through their telescopes. But the astronaut would not care any of this. He would be in his own world in space. Give some instances of daily routine mentioned in the poem. Daily routine mentioned in the poem are writing mail, posting mail, people visiting others, and milkman knocking door in the morning. And in the space, the speaker can't do all these in the space as he is alone in space. The poet is off to outer space tomorrow morning. What does he ask the readers to do? Or the poet is unsure about his return from the space. Give examples. The poet asks readers to look at the space at last time and cross out his name from the telephone directory as he is undoubted about his return. Why were the students marching in the street? Why was it termed uncommon? Or how was the students' march in Narayanpur? Okay. ಈ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗೆ the students were marching to give a notice to the collector for the British to quit India. It was uncommon or unusual because they walked silently without shouting slogans or behaving in a violent manner. Even though there were policemen, they marched as if the policemen didn't exist. Babu and Manju were a bit disappointed with the way students were marching. What was the reason? Or Babu and Manju were a bit disappointed with the way of protest. What was the reason? The student marched back to their homes silently, and Manju and Babu thought that the students were scared of the police. According to them, but the students should have protested. Hence, they were disappointed. What had the police expected about the way of protest? How did the student leaders manage the protest? The police expected the students to shout slogans and cause violence. This would make the police to arrest them easily and beat them up and imprison them. But the student leaders did not want to be arrested as they had a lot more to do. Therefore, they marched back silently. Then what was there in the mysterious parcel? What suspicion did the police have about that? The mysterious parcel contained a cyclo-styling machine. The police suspected that Mohan and his family were making copies of Mahatma Gandhi's speech, and they also suspected that some people were hiding these. And why had Patil, the sub-inspector, come to Mohan's house? Who believed him? What was the result? Patil, the sub-inspector, came to Mohan's house to give a warning about the raid of his house, as he was a close friend of Mohan's father. He asked Mohan to give him the cyclo-styling machine and all proof pertaining to the agitation against the British. And Mohan's mother believed him and allowed him to take away all these things. Okay. Then Hanif was a young man with varied talents and interest. Illustrate this statement from textual examples. Or how can you say that Hanif was an all-rounder? Justify. Hanif was dabbed in art, sketched very well, made beautiful cards out of waste material, read a great deal and loved playing the drums. And the officers at Raj Rifles made him get all his instruments from Delhi and form the music group Hanif 7. The absence of mother from home taught the children something. What was that? The absence of mother from home taught the children something that made the children to become very responsible, getting up and getting ready for school without having to tell them. It gave the children a message that one's duty is the most important thing in life. And how does the writer describe the introvert Hanif? Or how was life for Hanif always ekdam bindas? An introvert, Hanif began to make friends only by the time he was just 14 years of age. He would often go out of his way to help people because that gave him a certain kind of joy. What did Hanif choose as his mission, and why did he do so? Hanif then chose to join the army because he knew that life was very short for him, and to serve in the Indian army was his mission. Life for Hanif in the beginning was never a smooth sail. Why was it so? Or why life for Hanif in the beginning was never a smooth sail? Because Hanif lost his father when he was just 8 years of age. His mother Hema Aziz was left to take care of three young boys, but she had to leave the children alone and travel with the performance team of the Information and Broadcasting Ministry. So this situation taught them, and for them the life was never a smooth one. What were the dreams of Hanif? Do you think they were fulfilled? Hanif had dreamed that he would rise up the ranks, and this dream could not be fulfilled because he was killed in the Kargil war and he became a martyr. And another dream was that a post be named after him. Those dreams came true when sub-inspector, subsector was named after him. Okay, ಆತ್ಮೀಯ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿ ಮಿತ್ರರೇ, ಇದಿಷ್ಟು ಆಲ್ ದ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್ ವೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಸ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ದ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್. ಇದಿಷ್ಟು ಬಹಳ ಪ್ರಮುಖವಾದಂಥ ಬಹು ನಿರೀಕ್ಷಿತವಾದಂಥ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಅವುಗಳ ಉತ್ತರವನ್ನು ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಮೊಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಹಂಚ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸ್ನೇಹಿತರೆ, ಈ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಉತ್ತರಗಳನ್ನು ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಓದ್ಕೊಂಡು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಗೆ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಆಗಿ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಲೈಕ್ ದ ವಿಡಿಯೋ, ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಟು ಮೈ ಚಾನಲ್, ಲೈಕ್, ಕಮೆಂಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಶೇರ್ ದ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ವಿತ್ ಯುವರ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್. ಟಿಲ್ ದೆನ್, ಟೇಕ್ ಕೇರ್. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.